You know when you see a commercial for a cheeseburger at McDonald's and it looks really good, but then when you get it, it's a soggy, greasy mess? Yeah, well, it isn't too much different for a video game. We get promised and something great and interesting, and it turns out to be, disappointing. And that's what we're counting down, the top 5 disappointing video games. Number 5. Now, let's get this one out the way. This is a pretty obvious guess when it comes down to the most disappointing game, and that is No Man's Sky. If you don't know what this game is about, first off, what rock did you crawl out of? Secondly, this game was promised as the most revolutionary thing since creation. Endless exploration, millions of unexplored planets, and an experience you will never forget. But then the game comes and returns to be a big fat lie. One thing you must know is that neither the editor or I have played No Man's Sky, which probably says more about how disappointing it was. Number 4.
Everyone loves a good crossover, right? People love seeing two separate properties putting aside their differences to collaborate. So imagine how people reacted when they saw this.
Excellent.
Then people thought, wow, I'm gonna be able to rip Superman's head with spine attached off of his body. But despite all this, the disappointment for this game already arrived when they saw this. T. Mortal Kombat, a franchise that is partially responsible for the ESRB, has a game with a T rating. And it's painfully obvious while playing the game. The violence that defined Mortal Kombat was now dumbed down for its T rating, including the fatalities. Take Raiden, for example, who in Mortal Kombat 1 electrocutes his opponents until their head explodes. But in this, he just grabs them, flies in the air, and throws them back down so the upper half of their body is submerged in the ground. How do you even do that? No blood, no guts, just this. And to be honest, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe isn't a terrible game. You know, it's, as a game on its own, it's pretty good, but, you know, compared to the others, nah. I want to see guts. I want to see blood. I want to see whatever this is. Thankfully, we can forgive NetherRealm for this because they made Injustice, which is amazing. So we have that.
Number 3.
Alright, hi, I'm Parker, or Parkerwoot, or the coolest version of 2017, according to Kincade's Twitter poll, so, back off. Let's go back to September of 2014. Destiny had finally launched after an exciting beta. The game came jam-packed with a multiplayer world and a crucible for things like deathmatches and competitions. Since it was considered an MMO, there were expected DLCs to come out, such as The Dark Below, or House of Wolves, or The Taken King. Wait, what the heck is Rise of Iron? And not only that, but they just announced Destiny 2. Can you believe that? An MMO doesn't have multiple games, it has multiple DLCs. Anyway, I think the main problem here is that creators of Bungie didn't really know what they wanted in this game. They kind of just released it, and it became what it is today. They listened to fans, and I don't know, Destiny just became something that it didn't want to be. And hopefully Destiny 2, they changed that. Hopefully Bungie is on it this time. They better be, Bungie, please. I already pre-ordered this, man. I pre-ordered for my PC, man. This better be good. I used to play Halo, man. I used to play Halo non-stop, dude. Please don't let me down, Bungie, please. I can't afford that, Bungie, please. This is
Number 2.
Okay, time for me to air some grievances I have with a little game called Batman Arkham Origins. If you've been on my channel, you know that I love the Arkham series. Batman Arkham City is seriously my favorite game. But oh boy, do I hate this one. Why? I'm gonna tell you why. Firstly, Arkham Origins wasn't developed by Rocksteady, which was the developer of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, but rather Warner Brothers Montreal. The reason for this was for Rocksteady to focus time on working on the next proper installment, which was Arkham Knight, which is amazing. I love that game. I gave Warner Brothers Montreal the benefit of the doubt when it was first announced, but when I finally played it, I realized how mistaken I was to do so. The gameplay style, while almost exactly like Arkham City, somehow feels clunky and slow. The story's bland and uninteresting, the boss battles suck, and the visuals look dull. See, each Arkham game has a different color tone, something that sets them to be visually set apart from each other. Arkham Asylum has a dark mossy green tone. Arkham City has a dark royal blue tone. And Arkham Origins? Gray. Everything is gray. The sky is gray, the buildings are gray, the ground is gray, even Batman is gray. This game is set on Christmas Eve and they managed to make it so uninteresting to look at. Okay. One last thing before I go. Now, for those who aren't aware of it, the Uncanny Valley is a term used a lot in robotics, where the closer something is to being more human-like, the more relatable it is. However, there's a point where it drops, where it's so close to being real, but just off by so much you're put off by it. That's how I feel about Troy Baker as the Joker. Now, in Rocksteady Arkham games, the Joker is voiced by the legendary Mark Hamill. But in Arkham Origins, video game voice actor Troy Baker provided the voice, basically doing an impression of Mark Hamill's Joker. At first listen, he sounds pretty good, but after a while, at least for me, the little differences became apparent. I don't know if it's the dialogue or delivery that's to blame, but something about it feels off. Like, listen.
I figured you'd have a little more fight in you. Guess I figured wrong.
Oh, gotta say, I thought you'd have more fight in you. A lot more fight.
Am I crazy? Am I the only one hearing that? I don't know. I don't hate Troy Baker at all, okay? But for some reason, when he voices the Joker doing an impression of Mark Hamill's Joker, it just bothers me, okay? Okay, I think I'm done. In conclusion, I hate Arkham Origins. Goodbye.
Number 1. Even though I love Wolfenstein games, there is one Wolfenstein that had so many potentials, and that is Wolfenstein The Old Blood. To shorten up this game happens right before the New Order, but this time you get to fight Nazi zombies. When I first watched the trailer, I was so hyped, but when I get to see the game's true nature, I was disappointed by the result. I felt like this game has so much potentials. The Old Blood was mostly about stealth. It is impossible to beat a single level if you're not stealthy. Another thing was that the levels in the game wasn't that unique like the New Order. In the New Order, every cast has memorable and has some unforgettable scenes, and games also give you enough time to get to know other characters. The Old Blood has some allies, but they'll never be around you to know them better.